Okay, so we're live. So we are live with Lunch Lessons, and I have the lovely Miss Nicole Brantley here with me today. She is womb therapist, she is detox specialist, and I'm going to let her name all the other things that she is, all the wonderful things that she is. But I just love, having guests on, especially you, because there's a lot of things that as women we don't, think about or think that it's related to certain things. And so I'm just happy to have you on to just help us and just to encourage us and as well as educate us. So I'll let you go ahead and tell us, more about you, your titles and everything like that. So thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. And when we have all these technical difficulties, it's going to be good. Yeah. So we have some blockage in the sound wave, but we're back. Yeah. So I am Nicole Brantley, like Candice said. I'm affectionately known as the womb therapist, and I help women who have fibroids, PCOS, endometriosis, those who have trouble conceiving, and much more take the option of hysterectomy and other surgeries off of the table to truly get to the root of their healing. I do that through my consultations. I do that through my detox program, some of the services that I offer, such as vaginal steaming, fertility massage, aroma touch, ear candling, and so much more. I also have products like my healing teas that have helped women heal their HPV, bacterial infections, yeast infections. I mean, I could go on and on. So the name of my company is Fresh. It stands for Feminine Restoration, Education, and Solutions for Women's Health. It was founded back in 2013. When I was pregnant with my son and laid off of my job as a therapist, and Spirit was speaking directly to me because I was sitting still. So This is how I transitioned from being an in-home therapist to actually doing therapy on the pot with my clients.
Gotcha. Therapy on the pot. I love how you put that. Yes.
Some of them aren't ready. They're like, I thought I just signed up for a V-Steam. Like, I didn't know. And like, you didn't read the description.
Right. Ooh, therapy on the pot. I mean, we're going to get into this really quickly, right? We release a lot of things on the pot. And so why not release, some other things that are having us bound?
Absolutely.
Yes. And when I think about womb therapists, people may not know what that means. So when you think of womb therapist for you, what does it look like? What is the everyday?
It's actually like people think that it's something in particular, but it's actually the name that I gave myself because I had switched into this womb healing work and I was a therapist. So I was like, I'm still paying for this social work degree, this bachelor's and this master's in social work. So I got to figure out a way to incorporate this into what I'm transitioning into. And so I affectionately gave myself that name and it stuck. I wanted something to be catchy, something that people could remember my brand by. And so because I was working with the womb and because I was already a therapist, that's how the name came into place. But, it's through that title, I do womb healing and education. So I teach women about their womb space, what could be going on potentially. The biggest thing for me is making sure people understand what they're experiencing emotionally, because every time you present with a dis-ease within your body, it always has an emotional root. And that's the key for me. So that's the part that I'm like, yay, I didn't have to release that because addressing emotions is super important. And this is such a non-traditional way that people don't feel like, oh, I'm with a counselor, I'm with a therapist, I'm with a shrink, it can have a negative connotation. And so it kind of takes that off of it and allows people to let their guard down, be free and share. And it's like when they hear things, for example, like fibroids, that's very prevalent in the African-American community. When they hear me say to them, so tell me about this. Fibroids from the emotional perspective is nursing a hurt from a partner or a blow to your feminine ego. Who did or said something, to you probably in childhood that made you feel as though you weren't enough, you didn't matter, you're not important, or you didn't count. And they're like deer in headlights, like, yeah, how do you know that? Whoa. Yeah. So it helps us get down to the nitty gritty. We're unpacking and we're not staying there because you have to release this. Everything that we experience as women, we hold into our womb space. It's no coincidence that endometriosis is at an all-time high. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, the fibroids, the trouble conceiving, because as women, we store everything in that womb space. So emotionally and energetically, there are blockages that are preventing you from moving forward and healing. You have to address it. If we don't address our emotional baggage, we will halt our healing.
Wow. Wow. I love what you said about the diseases and holding, basically that the fibroids are emotions and things that have showed up physically, basically.
They are.
Wow.
And that's what the body does. Absolutely.
So we get our emotional state in check, then we could be okay, because like they say, the body tells the story. So if you have all this dis-ease and things like that, something emotionally is also going wrong.
Yes. In addition to the physical, there is some emotional components. Yes. And so that's super huge in healing the body, mind, body, spirit, and emotions. That's what I focus on in my business, because I'm going to heal the whole person. Because when you have one of those that's out of balance, you're compensating in other ways to make up for that one part that's out of balance. So it's like, let's get the whole person into balance. Let's get yourself together spiritually. Let's get your mental health in order. Let's get your emotions in order so that your physical can line up, and that's why it's so important for us as women to be connected to our womb. It's our GPS. It's our intuition. It speaks to us, but so many of us are disconnected and miss every single sign when it comes to listening, because we're disconnected from it. So more of us have to get back to loving our wombs. A lot of women, I get it, are so negative when it comes to their menstrual cycle. Like, oh God, I don't feel like doing every month, but when people know what's going on and they change things in their diet and they get on herbal protocols and they do certain things to begin to make the conditions right internally, they look forward to their cycle. They're like, oh, it's not bad. I don't have cramps anymore. It's just that time of the month. So it's a matter of really getting to the root of your healing, understanding what your body is trying to communicate to you, so that so that you can enjoy life.
Right. Oh my gosh, we have to get into that, because I'm sure many women want to know. Cramp. We're not supposed. Is that? I'm gonna just go ahead and get into it and come back.
Cramping is not normal. No, cramping is not normal. When you are experiencing cramps in your body, it is a sign that you have too much protein in your body. So you're eating too many meat products. It could also be dairy, because dairy creates mucus. So what's happening is, during the time of our menstrual cycle, it's a time for our body to heal and tone the reproductive area. It's a time of conception. So if we don't conceive, that egg is going to pass on through and we're going to have a menstrual cycle, right? So if you're having cramps, this is the thing, estrogen naturally rises in nature, like prior to your cycle and during your cycle. It's acidic in nature. And so when we eat things that create more acidity, that's what creates the burn, which our nervous system registers as pain. So if we eliminate the dairy, if we eliminate the meats, if we change the products that we're using, a lot of us don't realize that the pads, the commercial traditional tampons and pads that we're using are super highly laced with chemicals and toxins and things that your body is trying to slough off. That's why you're bleeding so heavy, especially those double dosers, tampon and pad. You're double dosing yourself with the chemicals. And so your body's trying to get rid of that. And so it will create pain because of the things that are acidic in nature that are coming on top of the estrogen that's acidic in nature. So acid on top of acid, it's going to burn, it's going to hurt, it's going to create cramps. So if we do the things that prevent that, you won't have cramps. I also created a moon time tea that helps women slow down their heavy flow as well as eliminate the cramping. I have a specific herb in there that stops cramps within 15 minutes. And people were like, oh my God, I've never been able to function on the first 2 days of my cycle. Are you kidding me? So there are definitely tools out there to help you get through cramping and heavy bleeding, but understanding what it is. When we bleed really heavy like that, we have a lot of toxicity and acidity in our reproductive areas. It could have been passed on from mom lymphatically when we came earthside, because that's what we do as parents, but we have to clean up that area. And I do that through detoxification and herbal protocols.
Okay, detoxification. Okay. So before we get into the detoxing, and you also make these wonderful pads that I have to get, because once I saw a live from you and you've educated us on why we shouldn't buy the commercial pads. I want to get back to that, so y'all stay tuned. But just from an emotional standpoint, if you had a client come in and they are having all these emotional issues, what are some activities that you do with them to get in tap with that, and how can we really love our wombs? For a lot of us, it's like far-fetched. Like, how do you love your womb? You have
to first love yourself. And not enough of us do that. We don't love ourselves and we don't think that we're enough. That's half the battle. And it's because of things that have happened in childhood. So what I like to do first and foremost is address things from the emotional perspective. I want people to be aware of what it is that they're holding on to. A lot of people don't realize they're still holding on to things of old, things from their childhood, that marriage that didn't work. You're sad that your ex-husband's moved on and he's with this other woman. Like, you got to move on. So getting people to acknowledge their truth is what I do. And I unpack things with them. Why do you feel that way? What is making you feel like that? What does that remind you of? Who did you see do that? Because a lot of things are pathology. We saw our mothers do this or our aunties do that and we're doing it. And it's like, but why? Because you saw it being done. So we're living out things that are not necessarily our truth, but we're doing them because they're the only things that we saw modeled coming up. So really for me is getting them to understand what endometriosis is at the root, what viruses are at the root. I'm going to tell you this. I have a lot of women that come to me for herpes, for HPV. They are drowning in shame. Okay. Because the medical community and, the OBGYN makes them think it's a sexually transmitted disease and so they feel dirty, if you will. And I'm like, first of all, we got to understand what viruses are and how we contract them. So let's talk about that really quickly. Viruses, viral loads love weak tissue. So if your cells and your tissue within your body is weak, meaning you have a weak immune system, to keep it, really simple and short, you are more susceptible to catching a virus. And so I have women who can't even put it on the form, Candice. When they fill out my intake form, I'm like, what are we meeting for today? You didn't put anything. And they're like, I have herpes. I'm like, first of all, you got to release that shame, And so I get them to understand that you have a lack of joy flowing through your life when you're dealing with a virus. You're dealing and holding on to bitterness. What is that for you? Let's unpack it. And they're like, whoa, well, now that you put it like that. So helping them to understand from an emotional perspective why they're presenting with this thing physically helps them to release that shame. I mean, especially the people with herpes and HPV. I mean, they come wrapped in so much shame. All they're thinking about is, I had sex with this person gave this to me, and, and I feel so dirty and I'm so shameful. And now I have to worry about all of my partners from here on out. I'm having to let them know, and so they're dripping in that. They're saturated in that. And I'm like, let's take that off the table for right now, because anything created can be reversed, including herpes, including HIV, including HPV. I have a womb healing tea and douche blend that helps people get rid of HPV in 14 days, a $20 product. Okay. You ain't got to keep going to get these colposcopies. You don't have to keep going to get, a repeat pap smear every 3 months. You have to be in tune, understand what's going on in your body, and take control of it. So, being saturated in shame is the first thing that we have to let go of. And me helping women understand what they're dealing with from the emotional perspective and why this is presenting itself physically helps them to release that shame.
Gotcha. And you saying, like, listen, you don't have to be shameful of it. Because anything created can be reversed. Deep tissue. And that's why detoxification is at the root of everything that I do, because that's the only true and logical way to healing. When we have viruses, we have to deep tissue detox. We have to strengthen our tissues. So we got to give ourselves 90 days, 6 months, sometimes even a year of being diligent, eating very clean, maybe no meats, no dairies, no starches, no grains, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, water, cold pressed juices, smoothies. Like, you gotta treat your body as though you love it, because eating is a form of self-respect.
Right. Wow. And so when you love yourself, you'll eat right.
Goodness. And it's such a habit thing. Cause I mean, just recently went vegan and I feel 10 times better, not saying that everybody has to do that. I don't know, you're the doctor here, but, not saying that everyone has to do that, but just eating a cleaner diet is really important. But, when you said, everything can be reversed, but the doctors say, you have to come back, you have to take this medicine for the rest of your life. You have to come back and get these tests every 3 years or every, so often. And so they really are making money off of you coming back and
testing.
getting tested and everything like that, and creating this fear in you that if you don't come back, you could have something, you know, something could happen to you. But you know, knowing that there's so much power in taking control of our lives and eating healthy.
And knowing you are powerful enough to heal yourself, you know, and stop looking outside of ourselves all of the time for answers. Because when you go to your doctor, what do? They ask you the questions because you're the only one that knows, you know? So definitely. But I want to speak to that really quickly. Allopathic medicine or Western medicine, they never know the origin or the root of a thing, right? So when you don't know that, you don't know how to control it. You don't know how to heal it. You don't know how to get rid of it because you're saying that the cause is unknown. So that's why they mask everything with pharmaceutical drugs, because they don't know. That's why they want to snatch out and cut out all these 600,000 wombs annually, because they don't understand how to stop the heavy bleeding. Wow. They don't understand how to get you, you know, healed from X, Y, or Z. They don't know because they're saying they don't know the cause. So that's the difference between my work and their work, is that I understand the origin of a thing, whether it's a physical origin or the emotional origin. But when we know that, we can correct it. So for most of us that are experiencing dis-ease in our body, all dis-ease, 99.9% of man's problems are found in his or her lymphatic system. Our lymphatic system is our sewer system that takes out the trash. And it's stagnant in our bodies because we're eating foods that are acidic. Every time we take in a cooked meal, it leaves behind acid ash. And so over time, your kidneys have been shut down. They're responsible for filtering the uric acid. And so as time goes on, as they're shutting down, they filter less and less, and more is backing up into your body until it gets to your head cavity. And then you have headaches, migraines, ear infections, you have balding, thinning, graying, memory loss, tinnitus or ringing in the ear, dizziness or vertigo. Like you're suffering with all of these things, swimmer's ear, a muffled hearing, and you're like, what's going on? All this stuff is hitting me at once. But it's been brewing. Your kidneys have been shutting down. That acid has been backing up, and your adrenal glands are the brains of the kidneys. And so when your kidneys are down, your adrenals are down, and they're responsible for so many things, metabolizing our heavy metals, our sugars, trace minerals, iron. So when they're not working, we see iron deficiency anemia. When they're not working, we see chronic repeat yeast infections. When they're not working, we see hormonal imbalances, things of that nature, because they have a crucial part that they play in our body's makeup and how it functions. And so the kidneys being down, the adrenals being down, the lymphatic system being stagnant, you have all this sewage and toxicity in your body that's not moving. No wonder you're lethargic and exhausted and feel tired. You know, no wonder diseases are popping up, because your sewer system is not filtering out the trash. And so that's huge on what I work on: opening the kidneys, restoring adrenal gland functions, getting the lymphatic systems to move. If you're suffering with diabetes, restoring that function to your pancreas. That's why you can't eat fruit. That's why your sugar keeps spiking. But when you don't know that, you don't know that that's what you need to correct. Or filtering cleaning out your liver, or, you know, stimulating your spleen, because all of those things need to be working in order for your blood sugar levels not to spike up. And people are like, so you're going to help me heal my diabetes with sugar? Absolutely. I mean, excuse me, with fruit. I'm like, absolutely, because fruit sugar is not refined sugar. And if there's something that's spiking it too high, I'm going to pull you off of the citruses. We're going to clean some of that acid out of the body, but we're going to reintroduce it. You should be able to eat watermelon. You should be able to eat melons that are flushers, very high in water content, grapes, things of that nature. So we have to understand that how things show up in our body is a direct correlation of what it is that we're eating. And so we have to change our diet. We have to change our lifestyle. And that's what I teach in my detox groups, is living a lifestyle of detox. And when you incorporate that, you know, you don't necessarily have to be vegan. You can have seafood every once in a while, like your salmon, or you can have a piece of chicken every once in a while. Maybe not every week, maybe not even every month, but because you treat your body great on a daily basis, you keep your day mostly raw, and you do all the things that you need to do. When you have that one meal that's off, your body knows how to bounce back from it, because you've taken care of it, essentially. So those little one-offs are not going to harm you.
Gotcha. Wow. Oh my gosh. So that's a lot of great information right there. So if, you know, we're trying to detox and maybe we're scared, we don't really know all, all there is to know about detoxing. What is the first step, say, for someone who's just had COVID, and you say that, hey, we need to strengthen your immune system through detoxing and getting this virus out, and through creating, stronger tissue. So how is one to detox, say, after they've had COVID or a virus or something like that?
I say work with your body. See, people think that viruses or flu-like symptoms are terrible. Like, oh my God, I have fever, I have the shakes, I'm this or that. Your body's getting rid of things. Work with it. So the first thing I say is no cooked foods. We don't want to introduce any more acid to the body. We want to get on an all fruit, berries, and melon diet immediately, because those are the things that's going to give your body the nutrition. It's going to pull the water. It's going to give you everything that you need. Your body understands exactly what to do with fruit. It's a simple amino acid and it's a protein, a natural one. And so when it comes into the body, it computes it as information. It knows exactly what to do with it, and it uses itself to heal your body. When we eat anything other than that, processed food, cooked foods, anything that we've taken out of its natural raw state, it brings the body inflammation. The body doesn't recognize it, and it doesn't know what to do with it. So immediately, if you're dealing with something like COVID, if you're dealing with something that has you sick, has you with the chills, fever, your body aches, things of that nature, all fruit. You're going to flush your body. I mean, you can incorporate some vegetables. Vegetables is not as high of a vibrational food as fruit. It has its purpose. But definitely I say high water content fruit to begin to flush your body. And just in general, if you're like, I don't know where to start with detoxification, you have to start with what you're putting in your mouth. You have to change that diet. You can't be eating all this chicken that's dripping and the sandwiches with the sauce. I mean, a lot of what we combine in America is improperly combined. And that's why we have so many digestive system issues, because we're combining proteins and starches. And that's the number one no-no of what should not be combined. Think about it. Sandwiches, meat and bread, hamburgers, meat and bun, chicken and rice, or, like whatever it is, we're not properly in food combining. And that's one of the things that I teach in my 60-day detox programs, is how to properly combine your food, what can be combined and what cannot be combined. And stay tuned, because there's a masterclass coming for that, to break that down and help people to deep dive and understand how the things that they're improperly combining is creating their health issues, especially those within the GI tract.
Phew. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. I can't, wait to hear more about that. So for the listeners today, what's an example of something to start with, just as far as, we're not supposed to meet these starches and proteins. So would that be like more smoothies in the diet, more like you were saying, raw vegetables and raw fruits and things like that? So what are some examples of
incorporating more raw foods into your day? Okay. So if you're like, I can't let go of my chicken, I love my steak, I have to, okay, baby steps, one thing at a time, but keeping your day mostly raw. Okay. So cutting things down to one meal a day, incorporating smoothies, cold pressed juices, eating more salads. Get creative with them. Fruit is not supposed to be in salad. You're not supposed to combine fruit and green vegetables. So people are like, what? I can't have my strawberries or my blueberries in my salad. Technically speaking, no, it's an improper food a food combination. But so keeping your day mostly raw, incorporating more raw foods into your diet. So eating more fresh fruit every single morning. After I have my lemon or key lime water, I always break my fast with a fresh fruit bowl. If I don't have a fresh fruit bowl, that I usually cheat and get it from Publix, because I don't feel like cutting up all that fruit.
Right.
If I don't do that, I will make myself a smoothie, water-based. I incorporate my sea moss gel. I incorporate my chia seeds, because those things have so many benefits. The sea moss, all of the trace minerals and minerals that it provides for your body. The sea moss, potassium, calcium. I mean, through the roof, the things that chia seeds provides. Sometimes I'll put in spirulinas or different green superfoods. But whatever it is, maybe a smoothie. Sometimes I'll juice me a cold pressed juice to include carrots and ginger and lime and just different things that I know that's going to be nutritionally sound for my body. Carrots, apples, ginger, like whatever it is that you like. There's many things that you can combine and have for breakfast on an empty stomach. The key with breaking your fast is that we've just slept for several hours. We haven't had anything to eat, and we want to introduce the body to clean things. It looks like I'm still live, but Candice may not be. Hold on one second. So it looks like I'm still live. So I'm going to keep talking. So you guys are going to continue to incorporate more raw things in your diet. So breaking your fast in the morning with fresh fruit, a smoothie, juice, whatever that is for you. Keeping your day mostly raw, having salads, fresh snacks, which can be more fresh fruit. So you just want to really put those things in your diet that are going to help you flush the body, that's going to be nutrients to the body. So nutritious foods. We have to really, really pull back on those processed foods, those fried foods, because those things bring so much acidity to the body and toxicity. And if our kidneys are already not filtering, if our adrenals are already not working, if we're already dealing with a lot of dis-ease in our body, it's just going to further that dis-ease. Whereas if you do the things that I'm saying to do, it's going to begin to reverse that. So if you're in pain, you have achy knees, achy hips, your joints are aching, all this stuff is aching, right? That's a sign that you have too much acid in your body. Fruit neutralizes acidity. It's a natural painkiller. So if you take in fruit first thing in the morning and you're waking up stiff and your joints are achy, you can reverse that by eating fruit every single morning, having that fresh fruit smoothie, not with milk at the base or a nut milk, with water and the fresh fruit or frozen fruit. That's the best thing that you can do for your body. And over time, I hear it from my detox participants all the time. They're like, oh my God, Nicole, I'm only 1 week into the program and I was dealing with stiffness and achy joints when I was waking up. And I can't believe that I'm hopping out of bed. I feel good. They also say that when they use my Palo Santo roll-on, which helps with joint aches and muscle pains, they're like, I don't want to believe that all I did was roll this stuff on my knee or on my hip last night. And I woke up and I don't have no pain. Is it in my mind? And I'm like, right. No, this is essential oils. This is what, working with the body does. This is what using things that come from the earth and out of nature will do for you. But we're so used to medication. We're so used to pacifying everything and putting a Band-Aid on it and, chasing symptomology and never getting to the root of a thing that when it happens so fast, we don't believe it. So.
Right. Oh my goodness. You just spit a wealth of knowledge. I'm gonna have to sign up for a class because, and the smoothie thing is very powerful, and not having to put almond milk, but just like I said, water and, keeping it
water at the base.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. What's your favorite? Because I see you doing a lot of smoothies. What's your favorite mixture of smoothie?
At this time, because it's summer months, I would have to say my melon medley is my favorite. So it's a combination of watermelon, honeydew melon, and cantaloupe. And I literally put it in the blender. It has so much water, I don't have to add water or anything to it. I have a high-powered Vitamix. It whips it right on up, and it's absolutely delicious. So that's one of my favorites. But if you were to ever join one of my detox programs, I give out those juicing recipes, those smoothie recipes. I'm actually in the midst of writing a food guide for women to help reverse their fibroids, their PCOS, like how to eat to reverse these things. And so incorporated within that book is going to be my staple meal ideas for dinner, my smoothie recipes, my juicing recipes, and things of that nature, so that you have recipes to get in that kitchen and prep and do your thing on a Saturday or a Sunday and prepare for 3 to 4 days of your week, the first half of your week. And you just reaching in the fridge, grabbing your smoothie and going, reaching in the fridge, grabbing your juice and going. So really learning how to live a lifestyle of detox. My next group detox starts this coming Monday. So I'm getting ready to do a video on the last call to get in for that August 3rd. And it's 60 days. So August 3rd to September 30th. But when I tell you some transformational things happen, I'm going to say this quick because I know we have to get ready to wrap. But this last group, they're wrapping today, the 31st. And I posted out this morning that it's time to celebrate you. You guys did 60 days of amazing work. You buckled down. You did your thing. How can we celebrate your wins? And one of my clients is pregnant. And that was her goal. She came in there it's an autoimmune disease group, but you didn't have to have an autoimmune disease to join. Yeah. And prior to us speaking, she's like, this is my goal. I really want to get, pregnant. I have one child, but for some reason, I can't seem to conceive. The last time I did, it was a miscarriage, and I just don't want to go through any of that again. So I shared with her, you have to clean up your body from head to toe. Things are too acidic, and it might not be an environment for baby to maintain. So let's clean up your body. I said, don't try anything until after September. Let's give it 90 days, all of this stuff. She followed everything that I said to a T. Her herbal protocol, every meal idea I posted out there, she did it. I mean, it was amazing. And she shared with us that she has conceived successfully. So that's just one. Most people lost between 16 and 20 pounds in the first month. When they weighed in for their July 1st weigh-in, they were like, oh my God, Nicole, I can't believe it. I lost 16 pounds. I lost 18 pounds. I lost 20 pounds. A lot of them don't come in there with the goal of weight loss. They just want to start reversing their diabetes or their lupus or whatever it is they were suffering with. And then weight loss is the side benefit to eating well. That is, if you incorporate more raw and you feel like I can't lose weight, this weight is so stubborn. One of the things that I help you do is open your kidneys, because weight is acid. Acid is weight. The same thing with pain. Pain is acid. Acid is pain. So when we get those kidneys to open and we get that acid to filter, we get that lymphatic system to move, and now the old trash is going out.
Yeah.
You feel so much better in your body. The weight starts to fall off. The pain disappears. The symptoms go away. Like, you allow the body to operate and do what it's created to do, which is heal itself. It's amazing to sit back and watch. So that's just a prime example of what can happen if you buckle down, give yourself these 60 days, stay as close to the fire as you possibly can. It gets tough. You want to be like, I want a piece of chicken. I want, whatever. But I'm like, press through it. Sometimes people are so gung-ho. I'm like, have the chicken and hop back on the wagon, because we don't have time for that. Like, we're not going to let your mind rolling, turning over and over and over. Like, you can't focus on anything, because you just go have it and come back. It's not going to kill you, And so it's like, whew, I needed that. I'm good. I can go for another 2 or 3 weeks, so I'm not rigid. It's not all black and white. Life's not black and white. There's gray areas. And so, that's definitely something that people can join upcoming if they're interested.
Okay, awesome. So as we close, I wanted you to share some, more of your success stories, which you've already done, but I know you've seen women heal from endometriosis, be able to have children when they thought they couldn't. But can you tell us a little more about that? And also, how do we, you have the detox class coming up. Tell us more about Fresh, and how do we get involved with some of your services, and where can we find you?
All right. So some testimonials, I'm not going to go too deep because I know we have to wrap, but like Candice said, I've helped so many. I've lost count. I've helped so many women bring babies earthside that otherwise were told that they had unexplained infertility. I'm like, what is that? What do you mean? I'm like, see, they don't know the origin of a thing, so they can't explain anything to you. You got to clean up your body. You got to open your kidney. You got to do that. And, so when people follow the protocol, or when people get V-steams, I actually have a godson as a result. I did not know this person. She came and steamed with me. She got pregnant in less than 30 days.
Wow.
And she had to cancel her second appointment. And she was like, no, I need you in my life. I want you in my life. I don't want your business number. I want your real cell phone number. I want you in the delivery room. Something that I've been trying to do for 3 years. You helped me do in less than 30 days. We released a lot of emotional baggage. We gave a lot of people their stuff back that she was holding on to. So one of my clients had 2 miscarriages before me, 1 with me, and she ended up having twins when she finally did conceive. So rainbow babies, her babies came back. I've helped women reverse fibroids, PCOS, endometriosis. I've helped women get their cycles back regular. I help women control the heavy bleeding and stimulate their pituitary gland, which controls menstrual cycles and ovulation. So if your menstrual cycle is irregular, that's a pituitary gland issue. So I've helped people regulate their cycles. I've taken people off of what I call trash pads and put them on our Jewel Premium sanitary napkins to have an amazing period experience with the built-in graphene. Which we can come back and talk about on another lunch lessons. I would love to part 2 to deep dive into that, because that's so crucial. So, I mean, all of the things for my fertility massages have helped women conceive. Just my detox programs, helping people reverse their herpes, their HPV from my teas, and the combination of detox. I mean, the list goes on. And it's like, when you do the work, it works. it really works. But you have to buckle down and you have to be disciplined. And discipline can be painful. But when you do it, you get the results that you want. You get your heart's desire. So I can go on and on about the different things. I mean, I've sat at the feet of mothers and daughters and helped them resolve internal conflict and have great relations. I mean, so many things with all of the different tools that I've had. Ear candling. I've helped so many people overcome vertigo. That's a scary thing. Like, you can't drive yourself around, or if you're driving, you're worried about, getting dizzy and then running off the road. So I've helped people reverse their vertigo through my ear candling, their migraines, ear infections, memory loss, balding, thinning, graying. So when you're thinning and balding, you have a lot of acid up underneath your scalp that's destroying and damaging your hair follicles. So we have to clean out that head cavity, move the lymphatic system in that area out so that your hair can grow back in. The graying is not normal. That's a result of acid and potentially a copper deficiency. So when we correct that, your hair can grow back in brown or black or whatever the color it is. I've seen it. People with alopecia. My mentor, my teacher, who I've learned from, always says, I can grow hair back on a bowling ball. But when you understand what's going on at the root, people are like, so I could grow these edges back in? My hair can be not, thicker than this. And it's like, yeah, we got to clean up the acid. You have to put in the work. You have to change your diet. So Candice, I've seen many things take place since the start of my business, helping women coming out of that suffering and silence by telling them, tell yourself the truth.
Right.
And when you start there, and when you acknowledge your truth and you accept what your truth is, you can start to unpack and move on from there. Get different perspectives. That's what I offer. Different perspectives. Look at it from this way. Your mother did the best that she could with what she had. Your dad did the best that he could. Yeah, he might seem like a rebellious teenager. Maybe he's stuck at the age of his trauma. Just getting people to understand that because you experienced that in childhood does not mean that you have to let your past rule today. What are you going to, let's release that. And let's tell ourselves a new story. And you are creators. So you get to create your reality. You get to determine what life looks like from here on out. No, we cannot change the past, but we can make the future look like we want it to look to a certain extent because we do have control over that. So I've helped so many people with so many things, but you guys can find me on Instagram at Womb Therapist. My website is ilovebeingfresh.com. All of my links to social media are there. You can find me on Facebook on my personal page. I go live every Monday night at 7:30, a different topic. You can find me on YouTube under Womb Therapist. I'm doing better with posting my recorded videos over there. But when you have all these things, all these moving parts going on, it's hard to get, things over there. But I also have a membership program. For most of the people that are there are my participants from previous detox programs, but it's my patreon.com/womb therapist. And there I post out meal ideas, juicing recipes. I do card readings for the month, depending on what tier you come in on. And then you can have one-on-ones with me every month, depending on if you come in on that tier. So that's a way to be in contact with me on a monthly basis, getting continual information to help you begin to live and continue and maintain a lifestyle of detox. So those are the places that you can find me.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, I do want to save a little bit of time to see if we had any questions.
Sure. I would love to answer any questions from people in the audience.
Yes. And thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Miss Tracy says she's ready to sign up. Swery said your body rejects a chicken because it's foreign since you've been cleansing. That's true, because I've had that experience. The V steams are life-changing. Okay, so if there's any other questions, you guys post them and make sure to get them to Miss Nicole. And after the live, we'll make sure that she posts all of her websites and everything so that you guys can tune in to her, her lives or any information that she has. I first was introduced to you by the jewels, and the first live that I saw, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I didn't know that all those chemicals were in the commercial pads. And so I'm just so honored to be before you and to get this information. And yes, we must do a part 2 because it was like everything was coming against us, but we made it happen. We did the live, and I want to make sure that I have you back just so that we can talk more about a specific topic or even just give more information, because the information is endless, it seems like.
Absolutely is. But
Yeah.
yes, I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much for taking that step after watching that video. But yeah, Tracy, I will make sure I put the links to the detox program and the Patreon if you want to sign up. I'm not sure which one you want to sign up under, but I'll post both of the links. There's two ways to come into my detox program. I have a 2 easy payment plan, and then I have a 1 payment plan, which is slightly discounted for those who do that option. But absolutely would love to have you and be a part of your healing journey.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Miss Nicole, womb therapist. We will
You're
definitely be
welcome.
back, and you've been a joy. And just, you know, I've learned so much myself to just listening to what you have to say about eating healthy and healing ourselves. And because I know that God's given us the power to do so, we just got to tap into it and choose the right things. So I'm excited. I'll see you soon, and you have a good afternoon.
You too. Thanks. Thank you, Candice. And thanks for tuning in, guys. See you guys around.
All right. Yes. And if y'all have any other questions, we have a lot of people ready to sign up. So I'm going to go ahead and let you put those websites and links below. And we will talk to you guys next time. All right. We're off.